Hey guys, so here with Ben, who just joined the Wedding Lead Machine Accelerator just a little over 30 days ago. So now Ben literally just started his wedding photography business from scratch, and just about 30 days later was able to make $4,800 in sales through the lead machine tactics. So first off, Ben, so people can get a little bit get a chance to know you and everything. Tell us a little bit about your story before joining the Wedding Lead Machine Accelerator. What were you doing, and what were you doing to to grow your business as well?
Okay, so I've been a photographer for about 10 years now. I was based in Chicago, and since Chicago is a really big market, I was working for bigger studios that had, maybe 10 photographers on staff, and I was just a photographer for contract. So they were just hiring me out as a contract photographer. These studios did all the work for me. Like they went to the bridal shows, they did the Instagram posts, they did all the work, and I was just a photographer for contract. They would send me the contracts, and that's how I would shoot my weddings. I did that for about 10 years. I did about 40 to 50 weddings a year, so I was doing a lot of weddings. But at the same time, I didn't really have my own business because they were giving me the business themselves.
Exactly.
I shot a couple of personal weddings, but they were just for like family and friends. So I did that for about 10 years. And then my girlfriend and I moved out to Utah, and it was a really big opportunity to kind of start my own business. Utah being a completely different market, a smaller market, it really gave me the chance to start my own business. So since with the other studio, I had all the copyrights to all the pictures since I shot them, I had this huge portfolio, but I was completely on a new blank slate. So, moving into Utah, I was like, all right, I started my Instagram, and at first I had a couple followers, mostly photographers, but other photographers were following me. But I was like, well, how come brides aren't following me? I'm putting the hashtags and everything. And then I started my Facebook up, and I started my website up, but I kind of had that, what you talked about, like that hope strategy. No one was really, contacting me. I was like, well, how are brides going to find me? I could do my SEO tools and do Google search and stuff like that, but how are brides going to find me? I just sit around and hope, like I'll post a picture, and I can post pretty pictures all day, but I completely started from scratch. So I have maybe 100 to 200 followers. I'm not even on the Knot. I'm not on Wedding Wire. I'm not even on those programs. I'm not even on any of that. So I was completely starting my business from square one, from scratch. I have a lot of pretty pictures, and I want to book clients under my own name. But I need a tool to do that. And thankfully, you reached out to me right when I was starting out, and I was able to join your program, and the rest is history. Yeah.
That's exciting. So basically, working contract work, you weren't even getting word of mouth because the work you were doing was for another business. And so you kind of are in this spot where you have to start a new business, and you're like, oh, all the other photographers have Instagram. I guess I'll make an Instagram, And basically, kind of joined the Wedding Lead Machiner at the exact right time, correct? Awesome. Cool. So what I want to do is I kind of want to break down your process so students can learn from what you've been doing. So I'd like to go into each section of the strategies so students can learn from you. Tell us a little bit about your experience putting your first ad together and how long it took you to start generating wedding leads.
Okay. So I joined your program, and I joined your program kind of around the holiday time, like around Christmas, New Year's. So I joined your program, and then I didn't see the modules right away. And as your students will see, the modules kind of unlock themselves as days go on. So after the holidays, I was like, okay, it's January 1st. It's time to start this, new year, new me. And I started going through the modules, and a lot of what you teach, the back end is like a good philosophy, like have the right mindset, hustle. If you're not going to put the time in, you're not going to get the results. So when building my ad, I made sure that, my email strategy was completely right, put some time into it. My path was similar to yours. I'm pretty good at posing. I know how to plan a really good reception timeline. I know how to plan a good timeline. So I made those my emails, my email series. I did a five-day email series. I made sure my ad was really good. I copied the exact same wording because I was going to do a free engagement session.
Yeah.
I did the free engagement session. I went through the process step by step. I took my time. I didn't rush through it. I did my email series, made sure it was all correct on MailChimp and stuff like that. And then I posted my ad, I think Monday, January 7th, after kind of going, writing all my emails and stuff like that. And after kind of going through the process of posting my ad up on Facebook, I did the exact same process that you taught of doing the demographics, engaged people. And at first, I did a couple more cities than I expected to. Like I did Chicago market and the Utah market, but I did like New York and a couple other ones. And I've been doing it for $11 a day. The first day I got 14 leads, and from then it's been pretty general about 10 leads a day. And I do $11 a day. I did do a retargeting ad, and I did what you recommended, the $5. And then I've seen a couple landing page views, but my Facebook ad, like I said before, $11 a day. At first, it was a lot of leads coming in, and they would go straight to my MailChimp, and I had a way to kind of organize them and see how see if they were reading my emails, see if they were clicking on my emails, clicking on the links. Like you teach in your program, I did a lot of call to action. For a second ticket, go to my Instagram. For a third ticket, join the Facebook group.
Exactly.
And I would start people joining my Facebook and joining my Instagram, and brides were finally starting to follow me. Even though I didn't have a presence on Wedding Wire or The Knot, and I had just started my Instagram like 30 days ago, like completely from zero, brides were following me, I was getting leads, and it was an exciting time.
That's awesome.
That first week, I think I got about 100, maybe 100, that first week I got about 100 leads. And then I noticed, I started noticing trends. Weekends, it slows down a little bit. Sunday nights, you get a lot of them. Yeah. But Facebook does it all for you. Like, they know the times to put the ads out. They know who to market to and stuff like that, who clicks on the ads. And as the days goes on, I would kind of readjust my ads. Like, I was marketing to, like, New York and Las Vegas and LA, and I was like, well, if they win a free engagement session, I'd have to go there. So I kind of closed it down a little bit and just did Chicago and Utah, the markets that I know. Exactly. And I would get more leads from those markets in the 24 to 34 age range. College, same thing that you teach in your program. College graduate.
And I remember you telling me, even just like 2 weeks in, you're telling me that you had over 150 leads. And the amazing thing is, like, you get those leads, one, for so cheap, and most photographers, especially if they're just like on social media or even like Wedding Wire, they don't get that many brides to follow their business that quickly, And here you are with like an opportunity to get all these brides to follow you for very cheap, and then it comes to just nurturing those leads and following up with those leads. So I want to get to what you did for follow-up in a bit, but first off, tell me a little bit about your personal nurturing strategy. What kind of content were you creating, even beyond the first automated series? Okay,
so what I did is, brides would click on my landing page, and they would fill out the landing page. And the thing I did about the landing page is I tried to get as much information on the landing page as I could. So I really wanted to learn about the lead. So in your program, I think you talked about how you would, have them tell their story, which is really nice. But then I would also talk about, what's their budget and, how far are they in the planning. So you kind of learn about the bride as she's, entering the contest. Yeah. They would get my five-day email series, and my series was very similar to yours, like how to pose correctly, how to use your hand, how to do that. And then after the 5-day email series, I was watching your video with your interview with Sarah and how you have to kind of keep nurturing them even after the initial series. So I started a weekly email series where it's like the first email in the weekly series after the 5-day series, like they get an email every day for a week, and then it kind of buffers once a week. I try to get it out every Monday, but at the same time, MailChimp can work it to where it'll get it 7 days after the client got their last email.
Yeah.
The first one is a reception timeline. And the next one is, what to wear for your engagement session. The third one is, if you want to bring your pets along, how to use your pets and stuff like that, and then so on and so forth. So just like, and then since they're weekly emails, I can kind of like bring those into the mix as I go. So
exactly,
since I've had all this success, but only went 30 days, I'm kind of seeing how many people click on those emails, how many people read those emails. If not a lot of people are reading, how to bring your dog to an engagement session, maybe I'll move that further down the list and I'll bump up an email that, that is like how to time, I noticed that a lot of people were clicking on the perfect wedding reception timeline. So I bumped that up to the second weekly email and put the one where how to incorporate your pets into your engagement session. I kind of bumped that down to like the 5th week. So that way the brides are getting the most valuable content right away. And in your interview with Sarah, she was noticing that a lot of people came back after 60 days or 90 days.
Yeah.
So since I'm only 30 days in, I'm hoping a lot of brides come back, even if they like just started planning. Because that's the thing I did with my landing page. I asked the question, where are you in the planning? Have you just started planning? Do you have a date and a venue and photographer? And then I also have the option, we have a date and photographer. So when I get those leads in, obviously I'm kind of disqualifying the clients that have a date and photographer. They just want a free engagement session. And I'm choosing the people that have a date and a venue and a photographer. And the thing I did is I used your strategy of scarcity. Yes. So I said, this engagement session is only for 3 couples. I'm only picking 3 winners. So what I did is, rather than picking 3 winners, I secretly picked more because the clients don't know that. So I secretly picked more, because I mostly picked people that were local. It wasn't any cost to me to do an engagement session. They were close by or something like that. So I picked more because the client liked seeing that they won.
Exactly.
At the same time, I had all these leads. After having my ad up for 2 weeks, I had over 150 leads. I could only pick so many winners. I'm not going to be doing all the 153 engagement sessions. So I kind of devised a strategy as well to pick non-winners, but also have an incentive for the non-winners to kind of click back on my ad.
Exactly.
So for the non-winners, I said, okay, hey, you didn't win the engagement session, but I'll still be offering the free engagement session if you book me as your photographer for your wedding day.
So they're still excited. They're not like bummed that they didn't win and everything.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of response from that. Actually,
that's awesome.
I was worried. I got about 15 leads just from that, people contacting me. So I had about 8 winners, and then I had about 15 people contacting me after the fact, saying, hey, we didn't win, but we still want you as a photographer for the chance, that you'll do the free engagement session. And then just yesterday, I said, for the people that still didn't win, the 80 or so clients that still didn't win, that maybe clicked on the email and say, oh, I didn't win, and they didn't contact me back, I said, I did the scarcity tactic again, where I said, hey, I'll be offering the free engagement session if you book me as a photographer, but that's going to be ending in a week. Those prices and that deal's going to end in a week. And I've already gotten some emails from people who are sitting on that, and they're like, "Oh, it's ending in a week. I want to contact you." So I'm turning over as many of those leads as possible, and at the same time, my ad is still running, so I'm still getting additional leads coming in.
It's just a cycle. You're just cycling in these new leads, and sometimes photographers are like, but what about the leads who don't book? Well, so what? Like, those aren't going to be our clients anyways. Let's cycle in the ones, and there's going to be ones that are going to work with you. And one thing I think that you're doing is so smart, and it's really the right entrepreneur mindset. You're testing the market. You're seeing, like, for example, when you saw that a certain article was doing better than the other, and sometimes photographers, they'll ask me, like, well, how do you think this article will do? I was like, honestly, you need to test it in the market and see how they respond. And so what you're doing is you saw that some articles aren't doing as good as others. and you're bumping up the ones that are doing better. And you're replying, you're using these call to actions, and you're not just stuck on like on my template, but you're testing what works as well. And that's how you keep refining your process.
Yes, because it's a little bit on the back end, but in MailChimp, you can see, how many of the people you send the email to, how many people actually open the email, how many people didn't open the email. And we were talking about this, how on MailChimp they have a star rating for your contacts where you might see a 2-star rating for people who aren't even opening your emails. And then people who are opening your emails will have a 5-star contact rating. And those are the people that are clicking on your emails, and those are the people that you want to pick as your winners because they're interested in content.
Awesome. And now that's going into this next question that I have. Let me find it here. So, what was your plan on how to follow up with the leads to schedule appointments? What did you say to the brides, and how did you know it was a warm or hot lead to reach out to?
Okay, so for this one, you were kind of you had updated the accelerator, which is a thing I enjoy. Like, you have the accelerator and you have all these videos to watch, but then you'll update them as you're thinking of new ideas and as new content is coming in.
Exactly.
So I emailed the winners, and the winners, pretty much all the winners that I emailed said, "Hey, congratulations, you won the free engagement." Pretty much all the winners got back to me right away.
Yeah.
So the people that didn't win. Like I mentioned, I had a couple people say, hey, I'm still interested in the contest, even though I didn't win. I'm still interested, and I saw in your program that you had like kind of like a cookie cutter email that says, "Hey, follow up with me on Skype." And I watched that video after I had been responding to them. Yeah. But what I did is I responded to them with a personal email. So the email I generated for the winners, I did in MailChimp. Yeah. And then they got that. That way I could pick the contacts, and I didn't have to write 8 individual emails, and that takes up my time. And then for the non-winners, I also did that in MailChimp, where it could generate a mass email to the 80 or 100 contacts that didn't win. And people probably watching this are putting the numbers together. 8 winners, 90 non-winners. And you're talking about 150 leads. Well, there were some people that, I looked at the MailChimp star rating, and they entered the contest, but they weren't even opening my emails. Mm-hmm. So the people that don't open the emails and don't do anything, I mean, they're kind of a very cold lead. Yeah. So the people that I chose as non-winners were either 4 or 5-star leads. I contacted them, and then some of them reached out to me. And I would say, and they would ask, "Hey, we didn't win, but what's your prices?" And always email me, "What's your prices?" Because they're price shoppers. Yeah. So I would say, well, actually, I do a consultation over Skype, and we'll talk about my prices, my packages, and things like that over Skype. Yeah. And like you said in your video, some people are insistent, and and if they were, I would say, okay, my prices range between this number and this number. Yeah. Kind of a range rather than emailing them over my PDF that says these are my prices.
Exactly.
And then, boom,
as soon as they get the PDF, they're gone.
Yeah. So some people were a little hesitant about Skype. They're like, oh, I've never used Skype. I haven't used Skype in years. And then some people, since I'm kind of marketing to 2 regions, like I'm from Chicago and I'm marketing Chicago, but I live in Utah. Some people were like, "Oh, I see that you're in Utah, but I'm in Chicago." I'm like, "Don't worry, I travel back there all the time and stuff like that." So I had some people worried about that, but I emailed them with just like a personal email. Like the people that responded back to me with just a personal email saying, "Hey, when's a good time for you to get together for a Skype call? It'll only take maybe 20, 30 minutes, which it does. And then I can go into that next module you have about the the perfect sales scripts. Yeah. And going into that.
Awesome. Very cool. And so, yeah, tell me about that as well. So now the consultations and the sales script. Most photographers sometimes wait weeks or even months to hear back from prospects, but you're able to book these clients almost immediately. Tell us about that.
Exactly. So, And like you mentioned before, it's been a 30-day process. So, I started the program pretty much January 1st. By January 7th, I had my ad up, and I was going to run my ad until about February 3rd. But I was noticing that all these leads are coming in, and if these leads are coming in, they're going to get cold. So I ended the contest a little bit sooner. So I ended the contest, I think, the weekend of the 23rd, if I can remember. So weekend ago. So the leads that were coming in, obviously I had my winners, and I wanted to contact my winners saying, hey, we'll start planning your engagement session. But the non-winners that were coming in, when they scheduled their consultation, I was a little nervous because I hadn't done sales in a while. But I watched that sales script video probably the most, and how you're talking about the sales script video. And what I did is I took that sales script video and I wrote it down kind of like word for word, like, this is what they say, this is what I say, this is what they say. And I put it on my phone, and then I put my phone up on my screen so that obviously the client can't see that, but I can kind of like read the script as I'm kind of talking to them on the video chat. And when I worked for the wedding studio back in Chicago when I was a contract photographer, I did a little bit of sales, but it had been a while. Yeah. So I kind of had my old kind of like sales scheme that I would go through. So I kind of had that in the back of my head, and I just kind of adapted your sales scheme. So my first consultation, I was a little nervous, but I did exactly what you did in your video, and I kind of like trusted in your script. So, the consultation started, we had some small talk, we talked about, it being cold in Chicago and stuff like that. I had them tell me their story, and they went on for about 5 minutes telling me their story, because the thing I've learned in sales is that people love to talk about themselves. Yeah. And when they talk more than you talk, it's better. Like, you talk as little as possible, and you let the client talk the most.
Exactly.
So, my first consultation, they talked about their story, they talked about their lives and everything. I gave a little, 1 minute to 2 minutes about me, and then I went into, what things do they like in photography, and what things, do they like to see in photography. And I noticed as consultations went on, especially in the first one, clients don't know. They're like, we like pictures that look artsy, we don't like to be posed and stuff. And I kind of helped them out. I was like, do you like it to look out of focus in the background? And, they're not photographers, we are.
Exactly. You're building the clarity for them.
Yes. So, I would say, oh, do you like it when stuff is out of focus? Do you like to be more candid? And they'll be like, oh, yeah. And they like all that. And then they would say all that. And then I would do the screen share, and I would say, okay, here's my portfolio. This is exactly what you were talking about. Here's where it's, out of focus. Here's where it's artsy. And I would do your process of, I would tell stories of like, oh, here's Emily and Randy, and we had a great time, and they didn't like to be posed. And like you said in your video, that's kind of like ammunition, where they say, what they liked and didn't like, and then boom, you show them what they like and don't like, and how you're doing that, and how you'll be the one for them. And then it was nice because I kept the screen share up, so they're seeing my pictures, and then I asked them the question, what do you like about my photography? And then it's the same thing again, where they're doing most of the talking, and they're saying, oh, well, I like this picture where, blah, 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 is out of focus, or this is out of focus.
You're not even selling. Literally doing the selling to themselves at this point,
Yeah, they're doing the talking. And then after that, I'm like, okay, so obviously, you like that. And I think we're a good fit, kind of going through your script, I think we're a good fit. And then I say, okay, well, here's the prices. And, and since these were non-winners, I kind of use the incentive-based pricing saying, okay, you guys didn't win the free engagement session, but because you guys, I really like your story, what I'll do is I'll use my incentive-based pricing, and the price you see, I'm going to knock, $1,000 off. And that'll only be for 72 hours, but because you guys entered the contest and you didn't win, I still liked you, even though you didn't win. Okay, here's the price of $4,000. And then what I did is I have a couple packages, so I went to packages, I showed them the highest package, and then went down, to my lower packages and things like that. Yeah. And the good thing is I know what price range they're shopping for, because on my landing page, I asked them what their budget was. What is their budget under 2, 2 to 4, or over 4? I already know what their budget is, so I can kind of cater my prices to them, and I already know what packages they're going to buy. So I go through my packages, and they see the prices, but at the same time I say, okay, I use the incentive-based pricing that you kind of talk about, $4,000, but for you guys I'll give it for $3,000, or it would be 2 payments of $1,500.
Yeah.
And they see that and they're like, oh, okay. So and then obviously I'm mentioning what I'm offering in my packages and stuff like that, and I kind of do what you mentioned. Less is more. And you were talking about the iPhone and stuff like that. How you say, okay, you have me for 10 hours, you get engagement session, you get an online gallery, and that's it. This package, you get me for 5 hours, this and this. And then I even show them the lower packages, like packages that don't even seem attractive, like 5 hours, and that one's only $800. And they're like, oh, like that, So they kind of work towards the middle, and at the same time, I'm using your incentive-based pricing, where $1,000 off, that's the price I was going to charge anyway. So I inflated my prices to discount them to what I think is what I'm worth. And that's the thing that your students have to kind of realize is value yourself, higher, but at the same time be realistic. Like a lot of clients are shopping in that 1 to 2 range, but then you'll get clients that are shopping above 2, and sometimes you'll get clients that are shopping above 4.
Yeah.
And cater to them, as well, but kind of know your worth and everything like that. And after I showed them the prices, I kind of did what you said. I didn't talk. I let them talk first. And they're like, yeah, that second package where you're going to give it to us for 2 payments of $1,500, that's the package we want. And I'm like, perfect. It'll be great to work with you guys. We start talking about the day, like, when I'm coming out there and stuff like that, and planning, the engagement session. I was like, I gave you this incentive-based pricing. You guys get a free engagement session, even though you didn't win. But I'll still shoot your wedding. So we talked about, me doing the engagement session. We talked about what they've planned for the wedding. And then I said, okay, after the call is over, I'll work out the contract. I'll email you the contract and stuff like that. And, we'll get the deposit.
That's awesome. And, I love that you used the script and it worked really well. And a lot of times when a lot of the students, they'll go through the program, they'll learn the lead generation, they'll learn the nurturing. And then when they get to the sales part, they almost get really scared, and what would be a piece of advice that you could give to students who just kind of ignore the whole consultation and sales part because they're nervous about it? Yeah.
And so for people that are nervous, a good way to kind of get away from the nerves is, sometimes when you're doing a Skype call, because I'll do consultations in person, but since I'm in Utah and the consultations that I've booked are in Chicago, I have to do a Skype call. So when they're talking about themselves, they're talking about themselves and they're giving the story. When they're doing that, I had my cell phone right against the screen, and I was kind of like scrolling through the script and kind of like looking at the script, as they're talking to me. And since the cell phone is right up against the screen, it looks like I'm looking at you, but I'm looking at my screen.
Yeah.
And then go to the screen share. You're sharing your screen, and you're going through maybe your portfolio on your website, or maybe 50 of your favorite images from a certain wedding. And what I did is I had my prices on my website, but that's like a secret link that only I can see. So I showed them the prices at the very end. And since I'm sharing my screen, they can't see me anymore, so I'm able to look at my phone and look at the scripts. And I would highly recommend that for people that are doing Skype calls. Write down the script that you have in your video. Write it down in a notepad or something, or in a thing that you can pull up on your phone.
Yeah.
And kind of go through the script. Now, if you're doing it in person, it's obviously a little bit different, and I still have to tackle that kind of aspect of it. But on the Skype call, if you're sharing your screen or you're talking to them, you can kind of have the script off camera a little bit, just like, newscasters read teleprompters, just right below the camera.
Exactly. And one thing, it's A lot of it is the mindset. A lot of people, they get scared of sales because they think of like the sleazy car, being a sleazy car salesman. But that's not what it is. You're offering something that they already want. It's more of building clarity on their desires, and at the end, all you're doing is placing yourself as that solution. And then when you think of it like that, it's not really sales. It's just showing your true value.
Exactly. And a thing is, talking to that, like, just remember that they're human, just like us, and we're building a relationship.
Exactly.
You know, so they're talking about their story. Be like, oh man, like the client that I booked, my first one, you know, they were telling me their story of how he chased after her and you know all this stuff. And then another thing is like, I asked them the proposal story, like, how did you propose? And they tell me the proposal story, and you just react like they're a friend, you know, like,
exactly.
oh, that's a really cute
build that
story.
Rapport,
and stuff.
You know.
Yeah, so they're telling their story, and then, you know, just talk to them just like they're, you know, becoming a new friend. Like, what do you like about photography? What do you know, have you ever been a bridesmaid or a groomsman, and did you see something that the photographer did that you liked or didn't like? And then when it comes time for you to talk, you're like, all right, well, you were saying that, you know, the photographer was really quiet and didn't know what to do. Well, I'm not like that. I'm loud, and I do this, and I order people around and know what I'm doing. Or, oh, we like it when it's super out of focus in the background. Well, look, you know, you're screen sharing at this time. Well, look at this picture. This picture, stuff is out of focus, and it's exactly what you're looking for. And that makes them more confident in you.
Exactly.
And then you're in a way, you're selling yourself, but you're talking to them as they were like a friend. And then, yeah, when it comes to prices, yeah, you have to be a little bit of a salesman. But at the same time, if they've gone through your email series, they're in the consultation with you, they're interested.
And they built a really high trust as well.
Yes, they've built the high trust. So when you show them that your prices, you know, even though I show them my highest price first, you know, and my highest package, you know, could be like $6,000 to $8,000, they'll be like, oh, we can't afford that. But at the same time, I'm still talking about the incentive pricing. Like, okay, for this highest package, you get A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And then I'll knock off $1,000, so it'll be this, or 2 payments of this. And then I go through the lower packages, so they see the value in you because they're like, wow, like this guy, you know, just like you said in your video, he has a package that's, you know, $5,000, but I'm going to only get it for 2 payments of $2,000.
Exactly.
You know, and and if their budget is $2,000, you know, yeah, you know, you're kind of going over their budget, but they'll kind of think like, oh, you know, we can scrounge up another $2,000 because
exactly.
we trust this guy. You know, he's exactly what we're looking for. And yeah, like I've had 2 clients book with me, and I've had more consultations, but the other consultations have been, you know, the winners. So I'll talk to the winners like, hey, let's plan out your engagement session, let's plan out that. And at the same time, I talk to them about prices. If they want me to, with the winners, it's a little bit more casual because they've already won, but you know you're going to be working with them, and that's even a more friendly environment. So
more building that relationship there.
Yeah, with the winners, you already know you're going to be meeting them and working with them. So like the tension is kind of out of the room. Where with a person that didn't win, and you have to kind of have to sell to them. Not that it's more pressure, but you kind of have to earn their trust. Where with the people that have won, they're like, "Oh, we won," so they're already happy and kind of on board with you.
Here's the next question I wanted to ask you. So, a lot of photographers jump into the Wedding Lead Machine Accelerator, and when they realize the work that they actually need to put in to set everything up, they often hit paralysis, and they don't set it up at all. How did you overcome those challenges to set up your marketing campaign so quickly?
Okay, so this is a lot of what you talk about in like one of the first videos.
Yeah.
Is having the correct mindset and having you know, a positive mental attitude. I mean, honestly, you know, photographers watching this, you know, I was in the same boat you are. I'm trying to generate leads and stuff like that. I'm trying to have a successful business, but at the same time, you know, if you don't put the work in, the work's not going to come. You've got to put the work in, and then the work will come. There's this entrepreneur and motivational speaker called Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V, as a lot of people know him. And I get a lot of inspiration from him, where he's like, you got to hustle. Like, you got to, like, even if it's, and my father kind of taught me this when he knew I was going out into this venture. He's like, even if you do just one thing a day, just do the, even like if you just do one thing a day, at least you did the one thing. So like, even if you go at it a slow process, like, okay, maybe on a Monday, you write your first email and you make sure that your first email in your series is good. Then Tuesday, write your second email. Make sure that your second email is good. For me, I have a lot of drive, and I kind of like, I wanted that like instant gratification, like a lot of millennials do.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get my, and also, because I've been in the industry, I know that in the wintertime, this is booking season. So I knew that a lot of brides were getting engaged over Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. And when the entry started coming in, they said, oh, when I'm reading their story, it says, oh, he proposed at Christmas time. He proposed at New Year's. So I knew that I had to jump on the market right away. So people that are kind of like, lethargic or procrastinators, honestly, I get that way too. But if you do just one thing a day, you're like, hey, I accomplished this today. Tomorrow, I'll do another thing. Like for me, I did a lot, in a short amount of time. But at the same time, the more time you spend, setting up your ad and setting up your emails, though, to me, I thought those are clients I'm missing. Like I wanted to have my Facebook ad up right away because more eyes are seeing that Facebook ad. And the time that you don't have your Facebook ad up, that's time that brides are looking at other photographers and not looking at you.
Exactly. And what is one piece of advice that you would give to students in the program so they can get the same results that you reached?
Okay. And I remember your interview with Sarah. She said the same thing. Is to kind of trust in your methods. Obviously they joined the program because whatever methods they were using didn't work. And for me, I was kind of in a lucky place where I was completely starting from ground zero. I mean, I'm not even on the Wedding Wire. I'm not even on the Knot. I haven't even spent that money. My Instagram literally has less than 200 followers. My Instagram is a baby Instagram, and I have like 80 pictures on my Instagram. So I completely started from ground zero. And thankfully I had, the budget to spend where I could be spending $11 a day.
Yeah.
But go through your videos. Don't kind of deviate off of what you say. In a way you can, like when you're writing your emails, write what you're good in. Like if you're really good at, planning the reception or planning what to wear, or you kind of have a different aspect rather than posing. Like you and I had similar things where I'm really good at posing and we had similar ideas. So writing my emails was pretty easy because I was like, okay, I'll just kind of do, the ideas that he had because those are ideas that I use.
Yeah.
If you have different ideas, make sure your emails are friendly, say, hey, in the last email we learned this. In this email we learned, you're going to learn this. But stay motivated. Like, you've obviously paid this money for the program, and you want that to pay off. Like when Jordan asks, like, hey, do you want a one-on-one on Sunday or Monday? Do those one-on-ones. Get your money's worth. And put the time in, because if you don't put the time in, you're not going to get the results. Like, make sure that your Facebook ad is, written correctly. Make sure that you're, do all the back end, do all the work in the back end, because once you do all the back end work, which does take some time, I'm not going to lie, like writing the emails, making sure it's all good. And another thing, test your emails. Like, in MailChimp, you can test your emails and make sure that the emails are sending. So, make like a fake Gmail account and send it to yourself. Just make sure it works before you send it out to clients. So make sure your emails are working. Make sure your automated system is working correctly. Test that out. And then once you put your Facebook ad up, you will see results. Like when the Facebook ad goes up, you will see results.
Generating leads is actually so easy once you get it up.
Getting leads is extremely easy. Like. I'm telling you this, like the students watching this. So when you do the Facebook ad, you'll definitely get results almost immediately. You'll see that when you get the Facebook ads, your leads will start coming in. And I would take Jordan's advice and keep it small at first. Kind of do the demographic of, your hometown, maybe the closest city next to you. That way your leads are kind of concentrated on what's near you. What I did is I did a couple more cities, and I got a little greedy where I was getting entry from all over, not all over the country, but if you're spending, the $10 a day, concentrate that $10 a day to your area.
Exactly.
And Facebook will find the people that click on ads and click on landing pages, and they'll send them to you. And you can see in your Facebook ad generator kind of the back end of it. You can see, who in your area is clicking on your ad. Like say in Chicago, I could see how many people are clicking in Chicago, how many people are clicking in Utah. I could see the age range that's working. You could also see, Jordan mentions to do just the Facebook ad in the newsfeed and just the Instagram in the newsfeed. I mean, there's other options to do it in stories or the right column, but you'll see that not a lot of people are clicking on those. So it's really good to kind of market straight to the Facebook newsfeed and the Instagram newsfeed, because honestly, that's where most people are clicking on. And like I mentioned before, you can kind of see in the back end who's clicking on your ad, how they're clicking on it from an iPhone or an Android or something like that. So the Facebook ad will work, but you want to make sure that when they're clicking on your landing page, they're going to the landing page, and that you have all your back end, tight in a little bow so that they'll get the emails. And use MailChimp to your advantage, because that's the kind of thing I'm discovering now.
Yeah.
I'm having all these leads, and I kind of need a client manager. So when you're first starting out, MailChimp can really be helpful, because you can see that in MailChimp they have the star ratings where you can see who is clicking. They'll give it a star rating. You can kind of manage your clients in MailChimp. Now, once clients start building up and you start contacting them, a good thing to use is the tagging system in MailChimp. So you can tag people, these are you'll see a 2-star rating. Maybe those are people who don't open your emails. Tag them as don't open emails.
Yeah.
And then
so you can keep a really good track of who those hot leads are, so you can follow up with them.
Exactly. MailChimp has a great organization thing where you can tag people, and especially when it comes time to email your winners and your non-winners. You go through your contacts, you tag whoever you want to win, and then they'll make a group, and then you'll tag all the people who don't win. That way you can send out a nice kind of generic but personal email to the non-winners, and it'll say, hey, first name, you didn't win, but whatever. Use Facebook, kind of really dive into MailChimp. It's a really good tool. And then with the Facebook ad, definitely kind of like look at your daily kind of demographics and your daily kind of stats. You can look at reports both on MailChimp and Facebook and use that to your advantage, to where maybe you're starting off at a smaller city and you're doing a 50-mile radius of one and you're getting results, and then maybe you want to branch out and you'll see results in that other city and stuff like that, but kind of see, maybe you want to use your money to target the right column, or Instagram stories, or put your ad on Facebook stories. But I discovered that not a lot of people are clicking on those, so you want to keep it to just the main two: Facebook newsfeed and Instagram newsfeed.
Yeah, and especially like once people kind of really get into building this system and they're getting used to it, then that's kind of an opportunity where they can maybe even do split tests and everything. All right, like I'll have this ad just on the newsfeed, this ad maybe just on all recommended. Let's see how the results differ on all these kinds of things. That's awesome, definitely. So Ben, what would you say are your goals for the next 90 days and for the next 12 months? What are your goals and what do you want to be achieving now?
Okay. So my goals probably for the next 90 days is to kind of keep nurturing those kind of warm leads. Like, obviously, I'm kind of doing a monthly contest. So I have my January non-winners. Those are kind of warm, kind of cold leads, but I want to keep nurturing them, because you'll notice when I do my landing page, I have them fill out whether they're just starting to plan, or whether they have a photographer, or whether they have a venue and a photographer. Those are kind of disqualified leads. Or they have a photographer, or they don't have a photographer and a venue. Obviously, those are warm leads. But the people that just started planning, for example, like it's the end of January, beginning of February, people have just gotten engaged. Maybe they're not planning on picking their photographer for another couple months. Like in your interview with Sarah, she noticed that people were coming back. So I want to make sure that my weekly email content is kind of good and that they'll keep on seeing that. I can kind of do the incentive-based pricing that I was talking about before, or the scarcity that I was talking about before, where I could say, hey, this pricing is only good until a couple more weeks. But at the same time, those leads still might be kind of lukewarm, where I want to make sure I'm nurturing those January leads into February, into March, so that, maybe in March, now they're ready.
Exactly.
And then obviously more people are going to be coming in, so I want to make sure that I'm nurturing all those leads. So a piece of advice I could give is kind of be realistic. Like, obviously, you're going to get all these leads coming in. You're not going to book 100% of them. Some of them are going to be cold leads. They're not going to read your emails. They just want to enter the contest just because to enter. Nurture the warm leads. Have a long-term strategy. So have your weekly email or have your 5-day series. But then also kind of keep on reading the knot, keep on staying updated, find some articles that will be good for your weekly emails, and nurture those. And after your first initial contest ends, keep in touch with the kind of non-winners, just to kind of say, hey, maybe scarcity, hey, sale is ending, or I didn't hear back from you. Have you guys decided on a photographer yet? Yeah. And kind of been in touch with the non-winners and kind of the lukewarm, kind of cold leads. Obviously, the hot leads, they will contact you. And another piece of advice is, you mentioned that, we have the email series and you have your weekly emails, but when you're posting on Instagram, make that Instagram content value content. So when you're posting on Instagram or posting on Facebook, don't just put, oh, this is Billy and Jackie, look at their pretty wedding. Say, use the information that's in your emails in your Facebook content. So when I post pictures on Instagram now, I say, here's me using the posing strategy that I talked about in my emails. And I make my content. I make the content that I'm posting on Instagram, I make it value content. So it kind of takes your picture to the next level. Like, it's a pretty picture, but the bride can see and learn something as well from looking at the picture.
Exactly, and that's one thing I always talk about, because especially on a platform like Instagram that so many photographers are using, if you really want to break through the noise, you really have to do more than just pretty pictures, but really try to give value in that nurturing content so you can stick out. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when you write your description, make your description valuable to the bride and kind of reiterate that you're better than Joe Schmo down the street,
Exactly. Awesome. So guys, these are some awesome results that we've had so far in the program. $4,800 in sales in a little just over 30 days. But it's not just strategy. It's a huge part of it is 50% strategy, 50% putting in the work to be able to get those results. So Ben, where can people find you as well?
Okay, so my website is bentakemyphoto.com, as well as it's Ben Take My Photo on Facebook and Instagram. I try to have the same kind of uniformity across all platforms, so it's easy to find me. So it's bentakemyphoto.com. And then actually, on my website, if you go to like the contact section, you'll see my landing page. So you'll see like a subsection where it says win a free engagement session. So you can see my landing page from the program that I did with you, and it looks very similar to your landing page. But you can kind of see what questions I ask and stuff like that. Don't submit an entry because I'll get you confused with a bride. But you can see my landing page and you can kind of see my Instagram and how when I post Instagram pictures, it's not just a pretty picture, but I put value content in that picture. That way, when the bride follows me, she's like, oh, wow, this guy is giving me a lot of information. I want to have him as my wedding photographer.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time, Ben. This is really awesome advice for the students. I'm really excited to share it with them.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you, Jordan.
No problem. Take care.